what's up? Your name is Kadija, aka the musingknomad, and I'm back again for Grrl. Like always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps your girl out when you like this video. It lets YouTube know that you're enjoying my stuff, so it's going to recommend my stuff to other people. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And let's get started. I already recorded this video. Well, I thought I was recording it and the camera wasn't on. So round two. So today I want to talk about some things that happened this past week and just dive into them a little bit. Firstly, we're going to start off with the presidential debate. WhatsApp needs to go, okay? And yes, I know some of you, feel a ways with regards to Biden, and he has some questionable things that he's done in the past. But at this point, as some like to say, it's lesser of two evils. I'd rather have Biden than Trump any day. But in the actual debate, Trump said something where and I'm just like, this idiot. And we know he's an idiot, he's a fool, he's a fascist, he's a narcissist, and he basically just wants to be a dictator. But he basically said something along the line, well, I'm the least racist person. I'm like, you know, that means you're just less racist than somebody else. It doesn't mean that you're not racist, right? But then at the end of the day, you really are racist. So it's like, but I mean, first of all, remember when, I should insert this meme when Candy was like, the lies, the lies, the lies. I'm like, how many lies can this motherfuckers tell? Like, how many lies? You just keep lying and lying and lying. And for the people that are supporting him, for me, I just don't understand. And some of you that are supporting him that keep coming to my channel talking about, I'm voting for him. Like, if you want to vote for him, that's on you. But why are you coming to me to tell me this? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not your target audience. Go find somebody that cares, that wants to vote for him. Like, I'm not that person. So why do you keep wasting your breath and coming over here? You know? Something else I wanted to touch on was they brought up ICE. And basically ICE has over 500 children and they don't know where their parents are. So I'm like, you have children separated from their families. We don't even know what y'all are doing to these people in this facility. And there's been alleged news coming out saying that you guys are performing hysterectomies on these women that are in these facilities. And for me, I'm just like, this right now is the modern day concentration camps. And for those that are pro MAGA and all of that stuff, I'm like, when we look at the history of this 50 years from now, where are you going to lie? Because for me, I'm like, we're seeing how this is becoming basically the US version of the Nazis. I mean, you have Trump's secret police, aka ICE. You have this idiot that wants to be basically a dictator, and you're doing these horrible crimes against people that we don't know of. We don't know what's happening, and mum's the word. I mean, and no one's really investigating what's really going on, and I hope more investigation will happen. But I'm like, when all of these things are happening, when we look at history 50 years from now, where y'all gonna line up to? Where will you be with regards to that? But for me, honestly, I just urge all of you to vote. I've already voted and I'm abroad, so please, please, please vote. And for those of you or those that keep saying, I'm undecided, we already know what the fuck that means. You're voting for Trump because undecided what? And for example, we found out that 50 Cent has endorsed Trump. I mean, are we surprised? And this is something you will be seeing this in a video coming up soon called Black Men Are Trash, where I talk about how affluent black men have such a huge disconnect with regards to the black community and what's happening because they're benefiting from capitalism and they really want to maintain and continue to be rich. Obviously, they're going to side with somebody that's going to not tax them as much. So it makes sense that they would want to side with Trump. You get what I'm trying to say? They don't really care about the black experience or the experience of other people because they are affluent, they got the money, and they want to keep their money by all means necessary. So I'm not surprised. And I think one thing that's really funny with regards to what happened last week with Ice Cube, he's basically trying to like backtrack and not want to be affiliated with them. And I'm just like, I mean, what did you expect was going to happen? Obviously, they're going to use a scapegoat. Like, what do you think was going to happen? You fool. And I have no feelings with regards to that. Like, y'all want to endorse him, y'all want to vote for him, do you, okay? Also, I want to touch on John Mattingly, aka one of Breonna Taylor's murderers. So he recently did an interview with Michael Strahan, and in this interview, he said something along the lines of, Breonna Taylor is going to be attached to me for the remainder of my life. And I'm just like, wow. So you kill this woman, or help to kill this woman, and the only thing you care about is that her name is attached to you. And her life is gone. You took away her life, but that's gonna be attached to you. And that's all that's happened to you. Nothing's happened to you, right? And he went along to say, basically, when they came, they were pounding on her, they kept pounding insistently, and no one came to the door, and that's why they went in. But I'm like, you're coming to raid, and there has to be an element of surprise when you come to do this. You might bang the door once, but you're forcefully gonna open the door and go in, right? So I'm like, bullshit. And secondly, he said that they opened fire because her boyfriend had the gun to his face. But surprisingly, you were shot in the foot. So I'm like, if that was true, why didn't he shoot you in the face? So that didn't make sense, right? So I'm just like, y'all, first, we already know, honestly, this situation, I cannot be biased with this because, I mean, I cannot be unbiased with regards to the situation because it affects me and it really triggers me. But with regards to the Breonna Taylor case, we know for a fact that the person you guys were going to raid wasn't her. That person was already in jail, okay? So obviously someone didn't do their job correctly. And then you say it's not racially motivated. But then you said it's that's why it's different from the George Floyd case. It's not racially motivated. But then you're basically saying that like you profiled them because of criminality, because of where they lived. So you're saying people that live in her area basically are drug traffickers or whatever. And I'm just like, all the bullshit he was saying don't make no fucking sense to me, honestly. At the end of the day, you're trying to clean up your act saying, like, you really didn't do anything. This has nothing to do with racism, etc. But I'm like, if this was some white woman's house that you went up to, shot up at, killed, do you think this would be the same situation? No, but the Louisville DA, basically they want to come out and say, yeah, nothing happened, you know, we did our due diligence with regard to the case and it is what it is. But now jurors are coming out saying, no, firstly, y'all did, the only thing we were asked to talk about or to judge was the wanton endangerment, nothing else. So things were not handled correctly with regards to this entire case. And then these idiots get to walk free. And now he's coming to say, I'm justifying what I did. This is basically giving me George Zimmerman right now. This is what this is giving me. And it really pisses me off and it ticks me off for real. And then he said something along the lines of, he basically said George Floyd wasn't killed by asphyxia, i.e. basically choked to death with that horrible man's knee on his neck. That's not how he died. He died because of an overdose. I was like, overdose. So that video that we saw, I didn't watch the entirety of it because I can't deal with trauma porn. But that video that the world saw, that was overdose. That's why he died. It really, 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 really bothers me. And I can't get over this. Like, Breonna Taylor's case really, it gets to me deeply because I'm just like, this girl did nothing. And even if she fucking did something, does she deserve to fucking die like that? Look at all these fucking white people that be doing crazy shit. Like, fighting police, yelling at police, doing all these things, right? And y'all won't do nothing. Y'all will, some white person go and kill people, right? Y'all will buy him some water, sit him down and be like, are you okay? Are you high? But this poor girl did nothing. Y'all just come take her life away. And you're worried that her name's gonna be attached to you. And her life is gone because her life meant nothing, right? Honestly, everybody that's involved in this case, I want justice to be served from them. And since the judicial system doesn't want to serve that justice like it should be done, hey, if somebody were to do something, I would not be surprised and I wouldn't be upset. I'm not going to lie, because it's like, y'all aren't fighting for us. At the end of the day, y'all aren't fighting for us. Y'all don't give a fuck about us. Point blank. Something else that I want to touch on is, again, SARS movement in Nigeria. And I spoke about it briefly last week, and I just wanted to give you guys more detail about it. So SARS basically stands for Special Anti-Robbery Squad in Nigeria. And it was enacted in 1992, I believe. So they've been in the Nigeria system, and they've been a part of Nigeria's police force for over, I guess, 30 years now. Or nearly 30 years. And for the past 3 weeks, there have been protests against them because even though they stand supposedly against corruption and anti-robbery and all this stuff, that's basically what they've been doing. They have been torturing people, arresting people, robbing people, and even raping people. And also apparently killing people. And Nigerians are fed up with it and they're standing up against it because it's not okay. And instead of the Nigerian government actually listening to its citizen, no, instead, y'all are going to have the military come fire at protesters. There was a video that I shared on Instagram, and it was a dark video of the protesters basically singing the national anthem. And in the video, you hear the military like shooting off, and you hear the man that's singing crying, and that really got to me. And I was just like, wow, people are just asking for basic decency and rights and protection under the law that they gave you, the power that you have, they gave you, and you guys are abusing it. And it's such a shame. It really is. With regards to ending stars, Tiwa Savage, who is a Nigerian artist, love her music, decided to basically make a video calling out Beyonce to talk about what's going on. And I will say I understood why she did it, but I think she went about it the wrong way, and I think she was wrong ultimately. At the end of the day, Beyonce, yes, she is a force, right? She's a powerful woman. But at the end of the day, Beyonce is an artist, right? Yes, she's a philanthropist and she has an organization to help people. But at the end of the day, it's not her responsibility to do or say anything. And one thing that I really like that her publicist came out with saying, like, just because someone's not posting on social media that they're for this or against this doesn't mean that they're not doing something in the background. And I feel that because for me, that's how I roll. I may be donating to whatever cause or, doing this to help whatever, but I don't need to promote it online for y'all to think, oh my God, I'm woke, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody who is fighting the fight needs to be out there for you to know. And I understand why Tiwa did it. I know that because, like she said, she was a part of Black is King, and she knows that Beyonce used a lot of Nigerian artists and producers to create that it makes sense that Beyonce would say something. And I get that. But it's like, you can't just be calling her out like she's supposed to do something. I get why you did it, but ultimately I don't think that was the best thing to do, right? Because for me, I'm like, you could have called out your leaders in office because you are a big name in Nigeria, right? You could have called out like people in politics who have power, who could help persuade things, right? You could have called out maybe even like Obama. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has influence. He could probably influence something if he were to say something. But I'm like, for everybody to have this expectation that Beyonce has to do all these things, I'm like why? And let me just say, I'm not no Beehive stan, whatever. I like her music. I don't stan nobody personally, right? Like, I like people's music and I leave it at that, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, Beyonce did it, like, whatever. Like, she's cool, but whatever, right? So for me personally, I don't stan anybody. But I was just like, Tiwa, that's not the best way to do it. And honestly, Beyonce didn't have to do anything or say anything. I'm glad she did, but she didn't have to. You get what I'm trying to say? And I feel like this is the thing with regards to like the Black community. Oftentimes when things are happening, I feel like it's the women that are going to bat and really putting in the work to stand up and say things, right? And we have this expectation that the women are always going to be the ones like being the mules to push the movement forward. And not to disregard like the men that are doing something as well, but it's like I feel like the brunt of it always comes on us. But I'm like, the onus is on all of us, right? And it's sad to see that in the continent of Africa right now, there's so much turmoil happening and people need to bring light to those issues. For instance, I had to make notes of this. So in Namibia, they're currently protesting against anti-femicide and sexual-based violence against women. They're protesting currently in Congo against rape and murders. There's so much stuff happening. And also in Cameroon, children were murdered. I don't even know what reason it was. I had to do some more research about that. But there's so much conflict and things happening. And I feel like ultimately because of the corrupt governments that we have and in the African continent, and people just wanting to hold on to power and not really do anything, for me, I have to tie it back to patriarchy and capitalism, because at the end of the day, it's like you want to hoard this money, not really take care of your citizens, and then when people say something against your government, then you want to cause harm to your citizens. Like, I mean, how else can we explain it? Because for me, that's kind of what I'm seeing is happening, and I really hope all the injustice that's currently happening, things will be done to help and aid these people. So I'm not one, I don't really use Twitter like that, but my cousin sent me something the other day that I had to share. It was a tweet by Jamil Hill, and she says, I have increasingly found that many black men just want better access to patriarchy. They don't actually want to dismantle it. And I completely agree with that. And in my video that's coming up about black men are trash, you're gonna see how I dive into that. And that video I recorded prior to her making that tweet. But I agree with that quote. Because at the end of the day, men benefit from patriarchy. So if you benefit within a system, why would you want to get rid of that system? You get what I'm trying to say? And instead of black men actually, you know, saying, oh, yeah, maybe we wrong, we may have done that, they basically wanted to make a joke of it, and they created a hashtag called Blame Black Men and just made a joke of it. And I'm just like, it's funny because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of the stuff that you guys are about, it isn't okay, and you've been conditioned to think that things like this are okay. And when women especially call y'all out, then you want to make it into a joke, or you want to be hostile with regard to those women. And I was just like, I mean, I'm not even surprised. And I'll go into more detail about that in my Black Men Are Trash video, so wait for that. It'll be coming, and you guys can, we'll talk more about that in there. So Tory Lanez decided to go on live on Instagram. I didn't watch it, but I have the gist of basically what he said. And you know, basically wanted to say that I didn't shoot Megan, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, basically that's what he wanted to say. And I'm just like, okay. At the end of the day, right now, I'm just waiting for the court case. So we'll figure out what happens, you know, in court. But I believe Megan. I don't think Megan Thee Stallion is lying about that. I don't believe she's lying about that. And basically, from what I understood, basically protected you, because she could have said something early on, and you could have said something early on too. When she said she got shot, you could have said something, but you chose not to. You decided, oh, when I'm going to speak about it, I'm going to basically do it in a way where I can make money off of her pain. So let me put out an album, say I'm going to talk about it in the album, and then in the album just say, we both know what happened, and that's all you said. I mean, if you're really innocent, I mean, tell the truth. Tell what it is, say what happened. But at the end of the day, right now, for me, let's just wait and see what happens in court. But I am standing with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm on her side. I don't believe shit that Tory Lanez has to say, but we'll see how it plays out. Okay? Something else that I want to address. Me and my cousin got in a heated debate with regards to this situation, because I was like, okay. So there was this black girl who Southwest told her she could not board the plane because she was dressed obscenely. And she was wearing a skirt and like a crop top that, you know, showed a lot of cleavage, but hey, right? And because of that, she wasn't allowed on a plane. And the reason I even knew about this, because one of my friends who works for an airline company, she brought this to my attention. She's like, yo, we see like white girls be going on here with like booty shorts and stuff. No one says anything. Like, they're like, the only time they actually enforce this rule about, you know, dressing appropriately is for standby travelers. But, you know, for the most part, people that bought their ticket, they're not going to say nothing. For the most part, that's what she said, right? But she was like, yeah, these white girls be coming here dressed like however, no one really says anything. So I thought it was interesting how, you know, this black girl was targeted. And I'm going to say that because I'm like, if it's not a part of the rules, and this is the argument my cousin had, she's like, well, if it's part of the rules, then if you break the rules, then they have the right to not serve you. You know, it's a private company. I'm like, okay, I get that. But my point was, okay, for me at the end of the day, right, the way she is dressed, if she is not harming anybody, what is the big deal? Because she's not causing harm to no one, right? And we got in a debate about this. Like, I was like, you know what, forget this. I don't want to deal with this anymore because it's a waste of my time. And like, she was getting annoyed, I was getting annoyed. So it was just like, oh, heated debate. But for me, like, and this is something I'm going to keep saying, if someone is not dressing in any way, or if this is me, this is my my point of view in life in general, as long as you're not doing anything to harm somebody, live your life, be happy, right? So if somebody was walking in with like some swastika on their t-shirt, or, you know, something really harmful to people's psyche, okay, I get that. But if somebody's dressed and you know, they got some titties showing, we're gonna be like, you can't go on a plane that you paid ticket to get on for. Like, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. I think that's wrong. And I was like, people talking about, because one of her arguments was like, you know, I don't want my kids seeing this. I'm like, bitch, everybody has seen every goddamn child, everyone has seen titties. You sucked on some titties, okay, in your lifetime, okay? Talking about boobies are like over sexualized for kids. I'm just like, she's gonna be sitting down in a plane. She's sitting down. Like, how is this affecting your life? You're going from point A to point B. How is this affecting you? Girl, I don't know. Let me know what y'all thought about that, because I'm just like, leave the girl alone. She ain't doing nothing to nobody. Leave her alone. And yes, like, I understand, like, you know, if you're going to a certain country or you're going to certain places, there's dress codes and things that you have to abide by. I get that, okay? But the girl wasn't like on the plane butt naked, okay? She just got a little bit of cleavage showing, and that's what it was. And y'all gonna deny her that? And I'm sorry, I do feel like she was targeted because she was black, because oftentimes as a black woman, you got body, right? For me personally, I got body. So if I were to wear shorts on me don't look like shorts on skinny girls, okay? My booty might be hanging out a little bit. I look a little bit more over sexualized because the way my body is shaped. And I feel like she was targeted. That's how I feel about it. What you think? Something else that I want to address, and I wish I would have said it earlier, but it's fine. So with regards to how the U.S. is handling COVID versus France, right? So I live in France, and I honestly think the way the U.S. has handled it is really despicable, and it just shows like the type of leadership that you have in office right now. This is the same person, the leader that you have currently is the same one that's saying it is what it is to people that have died because of, you know, how he handled the situation. And here I know the government could have handled some stuff better, but they've been doing a much better job. And now we're on lockdown again. The major cities in France are on lockdown, and we have a 9 p.m. curfew. And for me, it's like, I don't really go out like that anyway because of the situation. So I'm like, I'm cool. But I'm just kind of like, look, I don't mind living in a country where I am paying a lot more taxes, but I also know that the government, for the most part, cares about the citizens' well-being versus the U.S., right? The U.S. has the highest number of COVID cases and deaths in the world. The richest nation in the world has the highest number of deaths with regards to COVID. And I'm sorry, that is a shame. Like, how do you, as a leader of this free nation, free world, whatever, how do you look at yourself in the mirror and not care what's happening to your citizens? I mean, I know I'm like asking the wrong questions about the wrong person, but you get what I'm trying to say? It's like over 25% of the COVID deaths are in the US compared to any other country in the world. Can you believe? Like, wow, like it's really a shame. And honestly, if y'all vote that little motherfucker in office again, I'm gonna stay my ass here in France and just chill, because no ma'am, I'm not dealing with it. It's just no. The last two things I want to touch on, so Love Island USA's winner is Justine and Caleb, aka Jaleb. They recently made a video where they're doing art and crafts and talking about their relationship, and honestly they just bring me so much joy, and I'm so happy to see them being happy. And they're just a beautiful couple, and I wish them nothing but the best and loads of love and happiness and all that good stuff. But it's just beautiful to see a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman, being loved on, and seeing a dark-skinned black woman winning a show like Love Island. So if you haven't seen Love Island, you can watch all my reviews and see what it's about, but it's just, I'm happy to see them being happy. And lastly, I want to talk about Star Trek Discovery, which is currently on Netflix. I've been binging it the past few days, and Star Trek. So honestly, they should call this show Star Trek Resurrection, because they just keep killing off people and people keep coming back to life. And I'm on season 3, and I'm just like, the storyline isn't really that good. It could be a lot better. Like, the love stories that they're creating, it's not gripping enough where I'm not emotionally like involved. I don't feel it. And the writing, it's not that the acting is bad, it's just the writing isn't up to par. It could be a lot better, and it's just very meh. And yes, I know it's sci-fi or whatever, but like, it's still a story about relationships and people interacting, and it's just very meh. And Saru, who is like the weird looking alien guy, I swear every time he gets a chance to be captain, they take it away from him, and some white man comes and becomes the captain instead of him. And I'm like, can he just be the captain for a damn minute, please? I'm like, this is prejudice against the alien, okay? Let him be the damn captain, okay? I like me some Saru, okay? But anyways, that is everything I have to say. And like always, like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Help your girl get to 1,000 subscribers, or help your girl get to 5,000 subscribers, and your girl will be back soon for a new video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon. So peace out, bisous, and hugs. Pull up, 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 pull up.